Her hands were shaking, her voice trembling with grief. "Why did you kill my dog?" she cried, her small frame trembling as the gun wavered in her hands. The officer froze, his badge gleaming under the streetlight. What neither of them knew was that the girl's mother was already on her way. And she wasn't just any mother. She was FBI. The night air was heavy, filled with the scent of rain-soaked asphalt and something else, fear. A young black girl, no older than 16, stood in the middle of a quiet suburban street, her eyes red and wild. The streetlight above flickered, catching the tears streaking down her face as she pointed a small silver pistol at the man in uniform before her. "Why did you kill my dog?" she said again, her voice breaking like glass. The officer's chest rose and fell, his eyes wide, his mouth opening and closing as if words might somehow fix what had already been done. At his feet lay a still, small shape, her golden retriever, Milo, once her shadow and protector, now lifeless on the cold pavement. Just minutes ago, everything had been normal. The girl, Lena, had been walking home from track practice, her headphones in, Milo trotting beside her. Then the flash of blue lights, a shout, and the thunder of a gunshot. Now the world felt tilted, unreal. Neighbors had begun to peek from their windows. Curtains moved, doors cracked open, phones were raised, but no one spoke. The silence was heavier than the rain. Lena's breath hitched, her arms trembling as she kept the gun steady. Her voice was small but sharp, slicing through the night. "He was just running toward me. He wasn't attacking you." The officer swallowed, his voice barely above a whisper. "I thought—" "Don't say it," she interrupted, her words trembling but sure. "You didn't think. You just pulled the trigger." Her hand shook harder now, and for a moment, even she didn't know if she would drop the gun or fire it. Lena was not the kind of girl who sought violence. She grew up watching her mother leave the house every morning in a dark suit and badge, promising to protect and serve. Her mother, Special Agent Mariah Thompson of the FBI, had taught her to speak calmly, think clearly, and trust justice. But tonight, justice had been nowhere in sight. Milo had been a gift from her father before he was deployed overseas, a soft, loyal reminder that she was never alone. When her father never came home, Milo had become her comfort through the long, empty years. Losing him now felt like losing her father all over again. Her knuckles whitened on the pistol grip. The world around her blurred. Her heart thundered in her ears, but her mother's voice echoed somewhere deep inside her memory. "Never let anger decide for you. Power is not in raising your voice. It's in choosing when to stay silent." Still the rage burned hot. The officer shifted slightly, his hand hovering near his holster. "Please, kid. Just put it down." Lena's eyes flickered to his badge, to the gun still heavy on his belt. The same gun that had ended her best friend's life? "No," she whispered. "You put yours down first." The rain started again, soft and steady. Somewhere down the street a siren wailed in the distance. But this time it was different. The sound grew louder, faster, cutting through the quiet neighborhood like an approaching storm. A black SUV screeched to a halt. The doors opened, and two federal agents stepped out. Behind them came a woman in a crisp navy suit. her presence commanding before she even spoke. Mariah Thompson's heels clicked against the wet road as she approached. Eyes locked on the scene before her, her daughter trembling, a gun in her hand, and an officer standing pale as paper. "Lena," she said softly. Her voice was steady, unshakable. "Put the gun down, sweetheart." Lena turned, and the sight of her mother's calm eyes cut through the chaos like sunlight breaking through a storm. "Mom!" she choked out. He killed Milo." Mariah's gaze dropped to the small golden body, and for a fleeting moment her composure cracked. But she didn't rush forward. She didn't shout. She simply took a slow breath. "I know," she said, "and we'll handle it. But not like this." There was something in her tone, an authority born from years of facing injustice and surviving it, the kind that made even the officer lower his eyes. Lena's hands trembled as she looked between her mother and the officer. Then slowly the gun lowered. It clattered onto the wet street. She fell to her knees beside Milo, sobbing into his fur. Mariah crouched beside her, wrapping her arms around her daughter. "Justice isn't about who shouts the loudest," she whispered. "It's about who stands the longest." The crowd that had gathered stayed silent, ashamed. The officer stood frozen, his hand still hovering near his belt, but now it was shaking. Mariah rose, her voice calm but commanding. "This scene is under federal review," she said. "Every body cam, every witness statement, every second of this will be investigated." The officer looked up, his face pale. "You're FBI," she finished. "And that's my daughter you pointed your gun at." Weeks later, news reports told of disciplinary action, community outcry, and reform. But the image that stayed in people's minds wasn't the press conference or the apology. It was the sight of a mother kneeling beside her daughter in the rain, choosing restraint when the world expected rage. As the story spread, one quote began to echo across social media, whispered with respect and awe. "True strength isn't the power to pull the trigger, it's the power to let go." Another line, taken from Mariah's closing speech at the City Hall vigil, became a rallying cry for many. Silence isn't weakness. It's the sound of dignity standing its ground. And as the final image fades, Lena walks through her neighborhood again, head held high, a framed photo of Milo pressed to her chest. The same streetlights glow above her, but tonight they feel softer. The world has seen her pain, and through her silence, her strength. In a world quick to react, sometimes the loudest message is delivered in silence. Stories like Lena's